Well, I guess like, do you feel like would you like personally feel like you get like outside of like pillars, like would you actually like to be more renowned as a great designer amongst your communities of like younger peers, or do you feel like there's more like social credit, like validation of like being like a great doctor compared to like a great designer, or do you feel like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like, unfortunately, and this is really sad actually, but like when it comes to our like kind of community, being a doctor is kind of seen as the kind of be all and end all of kind of someone's aspirations, and like kind of that, like you've made it sort of thing once you've done that. And I do think that unfortunately designers, and if you mean it as a career path, definitely a lot underappreciated, despite the fact that a lot of them will acknowledge that the things that they use, like the iPhone and the apps that they use, are all very, very well thought out, right? And need really good designers, and their lives have been made a million times easier because of those like well thought out features and well thought out products that they use in their daily lives. So it's a bit of a dichotomy, but I think a lot of this is just cultural, and people just tend to have like culture, like they've grown up in a society where a lot of their like the people who are viewed as upper class, or the people who were upper class, the people who had the nice houses and the nice cars, were people who were doctors. Obviously things have changed now. Tech's kind of the upper class of the new world. So people who are involved in product management and design and tech, these are the new upper class. But that there's a lag, right? I think our parents' generation haven't quite got there. But where the money is, definitely in tech, right? So this is assuming money is the reason. But I've always been a skeptic. I've always thought that the reason that people go into medicine from our generations might partially be to do with doing good and helping people and saving lives. But actually, I don't think that's the majority of people's intentions. I'm a bit skeptical about it. So, and I don't see why, whilst yes, medicine, you are directly impacting an individual in front of you and you're helping improve their life or save it. I don't think that if you're involved in an app, for example, why you, like, for example, with pillars, we're helping people with prayer. Why is that potentially not viewed as much? But if I were to ask the uncles and aunties that I know, I think they would all push towards, if I had to choose between being the founder of Pillars and being a medic, I think they'd tell me to be a medic. But if I were to potentially ask the younger generation what I should do, I think they'd say actually go into the tech side of things and stick with Pillars. So it's really interesting. But even though they both might view it as doing medicine is kind of a prestigious thing, and the younger generation see that potentially being a co-founder of Pillars is a prestigious thing.
I guess like final points to wrap up on is that look, the impact that you make on tech is basically crazy, to be honest. Like, even to think like Pillars is still very much in the early stage, but you're impacting like 100,000 users every single day or every single week, every single month, like with their prayers. And like as one individual, as a doctor, there's only so much impact you can make compared to like
100%
with like tech or like making like videos online and all of this other like creative stuff that you can be. And but it's a lot harder for people to conceptualize and visualize. But honestly, you need to have diverse views in tech because of the amount of impact and like lives that like actually going to be like changing. And it's harder for people to like visualize as well. And I think that's a really important point. Like, how much like impact can you make compared to like for two like jobs, you know, like day to day. It's very like different, you know.
That's the thing, right? You touched on it, and that's the response I always give to people, is that medicine, the nice thing about it is that you get to see the individual being impacted, I guess, where with Pillars we get the reviews, but you don't necessarily see any transformations in front of your eyes, if that makes sense. In a hospital, when you're treating patients, you do get to see that. And so although it's not as common as people like, we're not daily doing like life-saving treatment onto someone, you're not doing CPR on individuals every day and seeing them come back to life. But taking that aside, there you do get to see the individual, but you're not, as a doctor, I don't know how many patients you're going to see over your life, but you're not going to touch as many as you were if you were to build a scalable website or app. It's just different ways of impacting the world, and I don't think people necessarily need to say one's better than the other. I just think that what I'd rather people realize is that they're all as valuable as each other. And so I don't want to tell the uncles and aunties that medicine's
Yeah.
not valuable. It is obviously valuable, and I don't want to tell the younger generation that being in tech isn't. But it's just about appreciating that everyone has to make a contribution, and I think that. I think a formula I came across once is like the number of people you impact multiplied by the impact on the individual is like the total impact, if that makes sense. So you can impact 1 million people in a very small way, and that could give you an output that is equal to impacting a very small number of people, but in a really significant way, and give you the same output. And so at the end of the day, if you were to compare the doctor and the CEO of a tech company, you might actually come out to the same conclusion. So yeah, I think that's actually I personally think that I was going to go on that. I think that's the way that I view
cool.
it.
Yeah. I guess so this has been like really good talk. The last thing to like finally wrap up is that like all the pillars app, like leaving like the people that are watching this or listening to this like reviews, like a tip. What's like your one like big tip for like habit forming, for like forming prayers? That maybe like you might not even have to like rely on your phone, like you're not relying on like an external prompt like push notification of the pillars app in particular. Maybe like what is something that you can like embed in your routine like day to day that maybe might be a trick that you think that could like help someone out?
I think it's just one thought that personally for me has helped me a lot, because I think the problem that people have with prayer is a matter of prioritization. Like if you're at home, you're either let's say you're out and about and you're nearly going to miss the prayer. It's about prioritizing. Do I want to go find somewhere to make wudu and pray, or do I just carry on my route, miss the prayer, and then do it later? Or if you're, let's say, at home asleep, right? and you're thinking, okay, I want to get up, but you don't put an alarm for Fajr, right? For Fajr prayer. It's about prioritization. You prioritize your sleep over your prayer. And I think there's one thing that helps me a lot, which is there is absolutely nothing you can do in that day that's going to be more important than prayer. Like nothing. Because often we're rushing, right? Like, I need to quickly pray, and then I got to get back to my computer and carry on work. But when you genuinely realize that the prayer thing is more important than anything else you could do that day, regardless of what it is, it's going to be more important. It really puts things into perspective and makes you reprioritize. And actually, even in the call for prayer at Fajr, we do get Salatul Khairun Minan Nawm, like prayer is better for you than sleep. So it's as if God's already, and God does know us best. It's as if he's already figured out that and is telling that to us every single morning to remind us that actually it's better for you to go and pray than to do anything. So whilst this is not a tech thing, but I think in the future of the app you might see like prompts like that to remind you. And I think that's where tech can be quite good, like push notifications with those sorts of reminders. But yeah, I think that's hopefully for anyone's listening, I hope that helps them.
I think that's a beautiful wrap up. And thank you so much for your time, Abdul Rahman. And is there any links that you want to like plug, like people to check out any of your Twitter, social media, newsletters?
Just the two. The Pillars app, obviously. So checking it out on the App Store, if you just search Pillars, you should find that. And then the my Twitter, which is probably my most active social. So which is ASAbbas98.
All right,
so
brilliant.
ASABBAS98.
Cool. All the links will be in below. And thank you so much for your time. This has been such an amazing conversation. And we'll catch everyone else in another video. All right.